2025 MotoE World Championship thunders into the Netherlands and a TT circuit Assen for the second round of the season. Coming here since 2021, Assen always delivers a treat in MotoE, and this year is no different. 100 years of the TT Assen celebrated with a bumper billing this weekend. MotoE's qualifying is up next. Good afternoon, good evening, perhaps even good morning, wherever you are around the world. Welcome to the TT Circuit Assen in the Netherlands for MotoE's qualifying. Just half an hour or so away from the university city of Groningen and 2 hours north of the country's capital, Amsterdam. Assen has been at the heart of motorcycle racing in the Netherlands for a century. Kiko Giles here, Neil Morrison next to me, taking you through the action here at Assen for MotoE qualifying, where Mattia Casadei might be the championship leader, but Eric Granado and reigning champion Hector Garzo both returned from injury, meaning an abundance of storylines to watch out for this weekend. This is how it looks pre-qualifying. Qualifying one with Jacopo Hosjuk, Luca Bernardi, Alessio Finello, Maria Herrera not moving through to qualifying two directly, Tibor Eric Varga, Tommaso Occhi, Raffaele Fusco and super sub Diego Perez all looking to try and advance through into qualifying two, where Jordi Torres so far has been the rider to keep an eye on. As you can see, Eric Granado and Hector Garzo already through into Q2. The top two from Q1 will join them. MotoE then on Saturday afternoon. We'll see racing action, but first up on Friday it is qualifying in the company of myself, Kiko Giles, Neil Morrison next to me, Elliot York in our ears down in pit lane. He will be making some contributions right the way through this session and of course talking to your pole sitter at the end of it all. But Neil, firstly let's come to you. What a season we're having here in MotoE. Mattia Casadei really making hay whilst the sun was shining at Le Mans. The sun not quite shining here at Assen, and with two big names returning after injury last time out, we're in for a weekend and a half.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more with you, Kiko. We had a dramatic opening to the 2025 MotoE World Championship. We had thrills, spills, crashes and injuries, and yeah, delighted to say that two of the riders that missed a couple of races of action are back with us. Eric Granado and Hector Garzo are back in our midst, and hopefully at the next one we will have Oscar Gutierrez back, and we'll be back at full strength once again for a full MotoE field.
Worth noting that it is Oscar Gutierrez who is not back yet. Diego Perez in for him, as we were saying. But Maria Herrera, let's talk about her for a moment before we do go green on this one. She was one of the standout riders last time out at Le Mans. Assen, a circuit she's been a winner at already this year in the World WCR standings. Let's see what she can do here. Wouldn't have anticipated her having to go through Q1 though. A little bit of a problem for her.
Yeah, exactly. There are a few big hitters in this session. It should be quite a competitive MotoE Q1 session here. Obviously, you just saw who was all involved, but Maria Herrera, one of the names who had a brilliant opening to the season, as well as the likes of Mantovani, who finds himself third in the championship, Kevin Zanoni, who's second in the World Championship after the first round of the season. But Herrera, yeah, brilliant start to the year at Le Mans. Almost amplified by the fact that she missed the preseason test in Barcelona because she was on WCR duties, so that made it doubly impressive for me.
Tibor Eric Varga flying the flag for Hungary in 2025, the number 47, looking to see if he can make some progress through here in Q1. A solid opening start to his year, and really he's just looking at, again, a track that he will know, of course, back from previous exploits, so maybe this time a little bit more of a chance to spring a surprise.
Yeah, it was a solid start to the season. Nothing too spectacular for the Hungarian rider, riding for the Riva Cold Snipers team this year. But yeah, solid opening, 12th and 10th, 2-point scoring finishes at Le Mans, and he'll be looking to continue that progress here at Assen. But all eyes in this session will be on that rider that was just leading out there, the number 21 of Kevin Zanoni, member of the Aspar team, championship challenger of course in last year's series, and expected to do the same here. And if he wants to continue that, he'll need to progress through this session. So Kevin Zanoni, big pressure on him in this 10 minutes.
10 minutes now, counting down, just under 9.5 to go. They head out into the track for the first time, leaving pit lane, and they will work their way round and have a little look at this Assen track. Let's just give a recap of what we've seen already this morning and this afternoon. Neil, Friday, tricky here at Assen, right across the classes. These guys will want to be taking it steady because this is their first real dry track time. It's been damp earlier and wet, really wet this morning.
Yeah, exactly, and we've had a slight change to the MotoE schedule from this weekend going forward. The first session held on Friday morning before Moto3 FP1. That's now been classified as a free practice session rather than counting towards who progresses automatically into Q1 and Q2. And basically the lunchtime session, the second session for MotoE here on a Friday, that is now officially the practice session. So that is the one session in which these riders can get a time in the top 8, which will automatically put them through to Q2. The ones that don't will then find themselves in this session. And you're absolutely right, Kiko, it was a bit miserable, wasn't it, when we got into the track this morning? The MotoE bikes were out for that first session. It was wet, it was cold, it was a bit miserable, but I think they had a bit of dry running for the practice session just around lunchtime.
And that was just my mood.
And mine.
But look at
Not
it,
because we're sat beside each other in the media centre.
Well, now you've said it, and putting 2 and 2 together, coming up with 5. Alessio Finello comes through Ram's Hook. This is Zanoni, Kevin Zanoni, second in this championship, second last time out, of course, at Le Mans in race 2, and really looking to try and make it work from there. 2 top 4 finishes so far in 2025. He has got to be one of the favourites to move through here. Right behind him as well in the championship, Andrea Mantovani is another one who's in this session and out there trying to put a lap together. Andrea Mantovani, second and the fastest lap of the race last time out in race 1 at Le Mans. 7th, but could have been better, you feel, had he not been caught up in Oscar Gutierrez's accident in race 2.
Yeah, absolutely. He was lucky to still be on after that incident at the start of race 2. He actually lost his right foot peg in that incident, and then was slightly restricted on what he could do on the bike from there. So 7th place, I guess, in the circumstances, Kiko, was quite impressive stuff. But Mantovani definitely looking more at home in this category this year, his second year with the Clint Forward team, and yeah, looking a lot more like the rider that we saw win races back in 2023. So Mantovani, yeah, certainly one to watch.
He really is. The number 9 we're talking about, of course, at the moment we're on our first flying laps here in MotoE for Q1. We're looking at Alessio Finello. Alessio Finello's start to the season sees him in 11th place, 10th and 11th in the races last time out as well. So Finello got solid points on the board, but he'll be wanting to try and move through if he can here at Assen this weekend. And we look back through the pack. This is Zanoni who's leading us round. So Zanoni's going to come through Ramshoek now, down into the chicane. He's got a clear track ahead of him, so he hasn't got a reference, so he's got no one to trip up over either. Right, left, right again, driving to the line. Zanoni's going to be the first one to get a lap time on the board, and it's a 41.4. He is bumped back though, Alessio Finello, where we said that he'll be looking to try and move through, and he is looking to really lead the way here. He's P1 ahead of Zanoni. I think Luca Bernardi's got up into 3rd, yes he has. Tibor Eric Varga, Diego Perez, your top 5. This is the number 9 of Andrea Mantovani, and that is a solid lap time of 40.5, 8.5 tenths quicker. Teammate Maria Herrera goes 5th, but everyone has got some serious work to do for Andrea Mantovani to be caught here.
Yeah, 8 tenths of a second he has in hand over Alessio Finello in second with that lap time. Really strong stuff from Mantovani. That's just 4 tenths off the fastest MotoE time that we've seen so far today at the TT Circuit Assen. We're still a decent bit away from the all-time lap record that was set by Alessandro Zacconi here 1 year ago, at 39.4. Let's see if we begin to approach those times, those kinds of times, in Q2 later today. It might not be until tomorrow until we see lap records being broken in this MotoE class. We are expecting that at the majority of races this year, with the bikes being some 8 kilograms lighter than the ones that we saw in 2024. The Ducati V21L is forever evolving. And yeah, we are expecting faster lap times throughout this season.
Of course, weather conditions now ideal. It is a little bit breezy. There is a little bit of a wind chill factor around here at Assen, and because it's so flat, you really do get that right across the track. Oh, look at that. Andrea Mantovani on the power through turn 11. This is down in that dip at turn 12. We have a look at Kevin Zanoni, half a second off, crosses the line, moves into the top two for the time being. Finello couldn't quite get him back this time around. He's half a tenth off, just less than half a tenth off Zanoni at the moment, but this is Mantovani, already your top dog so far through the chicane, drive into the line. Did he go on the green there? Just keep an eye on that later on for the battle for pole. It doesn't matter at the moment. 40.1 for Andrea Mantovani. Solid time indeed.
On the green in the Netherlands, you wouldn't want to be doing that, but Mantovani improves his time a little further, down to a 40.161. Not quite the fastest time of the day so far, but really not too far away.
Down into the chicane. This is the Romanian rider Jacopo Hosiuk, who's had a solid start to the season as well. He's coming to the line, half a second off at the moment. Where does that put? Oh, that's where it puts him. Hosiuk goes up into second. Now that you would have got good odds on that if you fancied a bet here in Q1 for MotoE.
Yeah, Hosiuk in his second ever MotoE round is a World Championship rider this year, and yet to progress through into Q2 so far. So Hosiuk doing fantastic work indeed, carrying the flag, you have to say, for the MSI team this weekend in the absence of Oscar Gutierrez, who is still injured miraculously. Relatively okay, Kiko, after that horrible crash that we saw at the start of race 2 in Le Mans, but it seems as though he's gone under the knife again recently to fix some metacarpal issues in his left hand, and I don't think we'll see him back until well, the season restarts after the summer break.
He might want to leave it a little bit longer with the way this lot are carrying on at the moment. It's not easy at all out there in MotoE this year. Coming to the line, this is Finello, goes up to third place then, so Zanoni, really, this is a big problem down here in fourth place. Of course, these riders not really going to come down pit lane during the session. This is all about getting as many laps in as you possibly can and getting faster and faster right the way through. We pick up Hosiuk again. This is through turn 12 now. Sorry, that's through turn 11. This is down in the dip towards turn 12. Comes through. Doesn't look like he's going to improve that this time around, but he is just over a quarter, just over a tenth and a quarter. So Hosiuk has got a little bit of time until Mantovani, but not a lot. He's right in touch.
Yeah, it's been an impressive performance here from the number 12 MSI Racing Team rider. A couple of personal best lap times coming in. You can see on the bottom of your screens there, Kevin Zanoni, Alessio Finello, well in touch. I believe that both the Italians are on track together as well. We're just hearing in our headsets from Elliot York that Andrea Mantovani has called it quits. He reckons that he's done enough. He's probably right to progress through to Q2 in this session, but he's called it a day for now.
It's worth noting, just while we're on Jacopo Hosiuk, he has been a winner here at Assen back in the Northern Talent Cup. It was in 2021, so he knows this place well. He's obviously had success here. So Jacopo Hosiuk moving through from Q1 into Q2 provisionally as it stands here in MotoE. We're looking at Finello. This is coming through Rams Hook and then down into the final chicane. He's got Kevin Zanoni as a reference. Zanoni 3.5 tenths off at the third split. Even if he holds it, it's not going to do much for him. Let's see if he's managing to pick up any time at all in the last sector. He does, but it's only good enough for third. He needs to find just under 1 more tenth to move through and replace Hosiuk in the top 2 here in Q1, and this is going to be his last flying lap.
Yeah, he's 900s off a place inside the top 2 here, so this could be a very complicated pair of races at the TT Circuit Assen if Kevin Zanoni doesn't improve on his time further on this final flying lap. So a big lap coming up for the number 21 here.
It's coming through turn 5. This is where it's all important. Got to get good exit, and Zanoni has further up the road. That's a red sector coming through there, so he's going to tip it through into turn 6 and 7. It's so faster here, you really don't want to be making mistakes through there, but Zanoni's got it clear all at the moment. Finello has got a reference, but he's a little bit further back as they come through turn 8 this time. Zanoni losing a bit of time, but he's still up at the halfway sector. This is going to be close here.
It is indeed. Just 6 thousandths of a second in it as he comes through split number 2. He has to absolutely nail this final section of the track. You can see Finello just can't quite keep up with his compatriot, who is many bike lengths ahead, but Zanoni, as he gets the rear, just stepping out before he goes on to this final lovely run through. Moivenmere here, that fabulous right kink. Well, it's more than a right kink, it's a full-blown right-hander, and then into Hogeheide and the Ramshoek. It looks as though he's lost just a little bit of time, but second place, I think, would do.
This looks like it's going to be good enough for Kevin Zanoni. Found time in the last sector last time around. Gert Timmer chicane, right, left and right again. Will it be all right here as he comes across the line for Zanoni? Oh, yes it will. He replaces Andrea Mantovani at the top. Now Mantovani is in pit lane, so if Hossiuk goes out and finds something, I tell you what, Mantovani, yeah, he's stomping back. He might be taking that crash helmet off in a minute, because if he is replaced, I'm not sure he's going to be. Not really anyone else out on an absolute corker at the moment. I think Mantovani might be getting away with this. Tibor Erik Varga moves up into 6th place, but it's not enough to progress to Q2, but he does improve his time on his last time around. Zanoni's already taken a checkered flag. Jacopo Hossiuk is still out there at the moment, but I don't see him on any personal best. No, he's coming to the pit lane, so it looks like it is all done and dusted, and thankfully so for Andrea Mantovani. He is going to be going into Q2. It was a close one.
It was indeed, just 0.003 of a second then between Zanoni and Mantovani at the end of a pretty interesting Q1 session. Good stuff from the two riders, sat second and third in the World Championship after the first round. And there is confirmation that we're still around 1 second, just over 1 second off Alessandro Zacconi's all-time lap record. So still a little bit of a way to go, but I'm sure we're going to be seeing an improvement on Zanoni's 40.5 in Q2 coming up.
Coming through then, down back towards pit lane. And we pick up now Alessio Finello. Finello in the end taking the flag in 4th place. He'll be reasonably happy with that, but he was right in touch all the way through. He's going to be gaining confidence with laps like that, and tomorrow, don't write him off.
Yeah, Alessio Finello becoming a bit of a stalwart in the MotoE World Championship. Has not exactly set the championship alight in the previous 3 seasons here. But one rider I'm slightly surprised to see down in 6th in this session is Maria Herrera, just there. As we previously mentioned at the start of the broadcast, she was the big surprise back at Le Mans with one of her best ever performances, arguably the best in race 2, when she scored a brilliant 4th place, but not quite on the pace here at Assen. Yeah,
she's going to be going off the 5th row, I make that. Maria Herrera in 6th place at the moment, so she's going to have a little bit of work to do in the races themselves as she works her way back towards the pits. Tibor Erik Varga 7th in the end. Perez, Fusco and Oki, the two on Getter 658 Squadra Corsa machines, 9th and 10th in this session, and bringing up the rear of the grid. But Maria Herrera, yeah, she has definitely got to find something for tomorrow and see if she can progress any further up the grid in both race 1 and race 2. But her qualifying session done for the time being. This is the 35 of Diego Perez, of course, and as you can see by those leathers, he is definitely a standing rider this weekend for the injured Oscar Gutierrez.
Yeah, he certainly is. If Oscar is watching back home, we send strength to you, Oscar, and hope that you're healing up well. We do hope to see you back on the MotoE grid the next time we go racing in the Austrian Grand Prix in the middle of August. But it was Kevin Zanoni who was the quickest in this Q1 session, with Andrea Mantovani following him through to Q2.
Jacopo Hossiuk just missing out then, but it is an Italian one too. Zanoni and Mantovani, as Neil says, moving on through. Hossiuk, Finello, Bernardi completing the top 5. Herrera will go from 6th place in this session. Will go from the 5th row of the grid to number 6. Varga, Perez, Fusco and Oki completing the order. And that is all she wrote for MotoE qualifying 1 from the Motor Grand Prix of the Netherlands. The top 2, Zanoni and Mantovani, they'll be back in action in just a short while, because they're joining some of the headlining names in MotoE this year to fight it out for pole position here at Assen, round 2 of 2025. More drama incoming shortly. then to Assen, Q2 incoming now for MotoE here at the Motor Grand Prix of the Netherlands. It is our second round of the season. You're in the company of Kiko Giles here. Over there it is Neil Morrison, and down there somewhere in pit lane it is Elliot York himself, and we'll be hearing from him very, very soon. Look at the clouds, they are gathering. 29-degree track temperature though, 20 air temperature. Very, very different situations to what we had a week ago when we were at Mugello with MotoGP, but here we are at Assen. The wind is always blowing in. We're not too far from the sea here, and it does feel pretty cold out there as particularly the day goes on. But qualifying 2 coming up next. Jordi Torres, Mattia Casadei, Alessandro Zacconi, Matteo Ferrari all in there, along with Zanoni and Mantovani, who just came through. So you can expect to see a load of very, very competitive and headlining names trying to go for pole position here at round 2. Before we check in with Neil Morrison alongside me, we've just heard from in Q1. Let's go down to pit lane. El, who have you got?
Got Jacobo Hosjuk just missing out there. Jacobo, unfortunate there. Just talk us through the session and how you're feeling.
Angry. Yeah, it's been a really good and quick qualifying. We did a good work this morning. Hopefully we did a big step from Le Mans with the team, with myself, with the training and all. Of course, I'm angry not passing through 1 to 2, but anyway, we are improving really much with the team, and quickly, as soon as we will be front.
Look, what were conditions like? Obviously, wet in the morning, dry practice. So, what are conditions like in qualifying?
So this morning was completely at 8:30 in the morning and wet, of course. It's better keep calm and just remember the bike. This the second free practice, we already start to do a job with the bike and the team. Of course, get a good setup because we have only 2 free practice and then already the qualifying. But anyway, we were working really good with the team and really happy, and as soon tomorrow I get away to the races.
Jacobo, thanks for your time and good luck for the 2 races tomorrow.
Thank you really much.
Time of the essence for everyone in MotoE, and really that's a hard charge for the rookie, isn't it, Neil? You've got to hit the ground running straight away, and really when you could do with an extra 5 or 10 minutes and they don't come, that's the outcome. You don't squeeze through into Q2.
Yeah, absolutely. It's one of the challenges of being a MotoE World Championship rider. You've got 15 minutes on the Friday morning to basically familiarise yourself with the bike, with the track. Then you've got to go for an all-out lap time and practice over 15 minutes at lunchtime, and then you're straight into qualifying. But well, aside from that, I want to point out just how nice it is to see this rider back on the grid, because he was sorely missing in France. Hector Garzo back and seemingly recovered well from injury.
Looks really good. Spoke with him yesterday. He just wants to get through this weekend, I think, first and foremost, but he has got serious pace. We've seen that all the way through today already. Let's see what he's able to do in qualifying. Of course, Hector Garzo, it's great to see the #1 back as well. That's another important thing. We've got our reference, we got our benchmark from last year, so that's really, really good to see. Teammate Lorenzo Baldassari, a rookie in 2025 MotoE competition, and he's 7th in the championship as things stand, but very solid, very stable opening. A couple of races from him at Le Mans. I caught up with him in the paddock yesterday. He's confident here at Assen. This is a track that he's liked from a long time ago, back from his Red Bull Rookies days when he was a winner. He could have been a winner from, I think it was 16th on the grid, Neil, in Moto2, and then he had that unfortunate clash with Alex Marquez at turn 3 here back in 2019, I believe that was. So Balda has pace here at Assen.
Yeah, and plenty of experience from his time in Moto 2, also in World Supersport, World Superbike. So yeah, Baldassarri coming here with plenty of track knowledge, which should hold him in good stead. Fantastic stuff to see this rider back on the grid as well. We spoke about Hector Garza returning from injury. The same could be said for Eric Granado. It's safe to say that it's nothing short of a miracle that the Brazilian is here on the grid at Assen, Kiko.
It was a very, very big off for him. Not particularly his crash, it was the crash coming in behind him from Fusco. So we're talking back at Le Mans, of course, on the opening lap of the season on Saturday afternoon there. So great to see Eric Granado back in action. And, of course, the legion of Brazilian fans, welcome, of course, to you guys as well. And hope that Eric Granado can get all the way through this weekend. But the championship leader who they're chasing, it's not Elliot York in the background. It is Mattia Casadei. Can he make it another win this weekend? We have got Q2 underway now in MotoE, and rolling down pit lane, it is time to go green for Nicholas Spinelli, and we know he likes this place from his World Superbike exploits here last year when he won that remarkable race 1 and that fantastic tyre gamble.
Yeah, it's a great shot, Kiko. Actually, that passed me by, but Spinelli was he stepping in for Petrucci?
He was stepping in for Danilo Petrucci.
That's
and
right.
Petrucci himself had actually, they'd done a video call before, and Petrucci said, go Inters. You've never ridden a Superbike before, go Inters. And he won.
It was a remarkable kind of one-off ride, and Spinelli, well, had a bit of a mixed bag of an opening in Le Mans, 9th and 6th. Nothing too brilliant to shout home about, but solid points on the board. And you have to imagine with his new team this year, the Rival Cold Snipers team, that he will be getting faster as the season progresses. You can see not everyone is heading out immediately. We still have Garzo, as well as a few others. Sorry, not Garzo. Baldassarri, Mantovani, Ferrari and Torres sat in pit lane still. The LCR boys currently out on track with Granado just leading Casadei around. Granado in that crash, he basically stood up from his crash. It wasn't a big fall as Kiko said, but then Fusco had a crash behind, and Eric tried to jump up and to avoid Fusco's oncoming machine, but unfortunately the bike clipped his leg fracture, which kept him out of race 2 in Le Mans. But he has recovered since then, and he's been fast so far today. He was 5th in the practice session earlier, which suggests that he is going to be competitive here at a track where he's got two previous victories.
He does indeed have 2 previous victories. He was our first winner here, and he won in race 2 in 2022. All of the winners here at Assen are here this weekend, besides Dominic Agata, of course, because he's moved on to World Superbike duty. But it's good to have a real star-studded lineup, of course, here in MotoE, and one of the legendary venues as well here at Assen. Spinelli on his first lap at the moment. Granado towing round Mattia Casadei as they come into hard box at turn 1. Careful not to run over the other side of the curve, as it can really upset you all the way through turn 2 and then into turn 3, that long right-hander before 4 and Destruben at turn 5. So at the moment we have got 3 riders out on track on timed laps, but a few more now exiting the pit lane.
Yeah, and we haven't really mentioned Mattia Casadei's performance in Le Mans, especially in race 2, Kiko. 10th on the grid, and I know there was total pandemonium and chaos, a lot of the grid having to take avoidant action whenever Oscar Gutierrez had that horrible crash up at turn number 4. But remarkably, Mattia Casadei came through from 10th to win race 2, which is one of the finest comebacks we've seen in MotoE history, without question. So brilliant stuff from him. I'm sure after qualifying 2 took place in France, he was not imagining coming here with a 3-point championship lead over Kevin Tononi.
He wouldn't have been imagining that, but he can imagine it now, because that's what he's exactly got. Although that win, of course, is his only podium so far. He was 5th in race 1 back at Le Mans, so he'll be looking to try and add a little bit of consistency to the peaks so far in MotoE in 2025. Careful of that green, Nicholas Spinelli coming to the line. He goes top at the moment on a 41.0, but there's a little bit more time left in this track. Yeah, we can expect that to be obliterated soon. Of course, these guys looking and aiming down for the 39s. Now, Eric Granado has obviously made a mistake there at Ramshoek and gone out wide, because Mattia Casadei has come through, and it looked like Granado was a bit unsettled as we picked him up. Casadei 2nd at the moment, Granado 3rd. That's apparent because, and obvious because, they're the only 3 so far that have set a lap time. But we ride on board now with, I think it is Eric Granado who's coming through turns 2 and 3, and this is Alessandro Zacconi, third in your no, he isn't third in your championship at all. What am I talking about? He is down in 9th place. He was third in race 1, and at the moment goes P1 on a 40.850, so that's good enough for provisional pole. Just word up from pit lane, Neil, wind now becoming a factor. It's really picked up out there. We can see on the flagpole outside our comms box too. It's giving it a good rattling. They'll have to be careful out there.
Yeah, that will be quite critical, especially at the back of the Wienschlein when you're turning into Ruskenhoek, which obviously claimed a couple of very high-profile scalps in MotoGP practice earlier today. A very dramatic MotoGP practice. If you haven't seen it, make sure you go back and watch it. But here is the charge coming through the GT chicane. 4 riders in unison, led by Jordi Torres, who goes 5th, Lorenzo Baldassarri 3rd, and Andrea Mantovani kicking on from Q1 up into top spot with a 140.141. That's pretty much matching what he was able to do earlier on today.
Mantovani, really, he is a Q2 rider. It was a bit of a shock to find him down there in Q1 earlier, so it's good to see him right up there on a 40.1. That is not too shy of what the pace has been so far in this session, so good reference point for Mantovani. Casadei coming to the line. Granado likewise. Does Casadei go provisional pole? Yes, he does, by over 1/10 of a second, and Granado goes to lead up the provisional 2nd row of the grid. So good stuff from the LCR E-team riders with 3 minutes and 45 seconds on this clock.
Yeah, working in tandem as well. Good strategy from both those names as Casadei brings Granado round. Granado would bite your hand off, wouldn't he, for a spot on the front of the 2nd row. He would love the checkered flag to be put out just now, but he has been demoted 1 spot because Alessandro Zacconi has jumped up into provisional 4th. What a distinctive riding style he has coming down into turn number 1. The Aruba Cloud MotoE team rider is looking good, and this is a track that he loves, Kiko.
Tell you what, Granado might bite your hand off for a front place on the front of that 2nd row, but the other hand off for a place on the front row. I'll tell you, that is some performance at the moment from Eric Granado. We're looking at Jordi Torres. Torres was top in a practice session today as well, so he's got some good pace coming through Ramshoek down into the chicane. Jordi Torres, of course, on the podium last time out, 3rd in Le Mans race 2. He's 8th at the moment. Careful of that green as we keep on mentioning it, but it does and can lead to a lap time being cancelled. 6th for Jordi Torres, so that's a pretty solid 3rd lap there, 3rd flying lap for the Spanish Elvis. 2 minutes and 40 seconds for him to improve his time.
Spinelli manages to climb up 1 position, demotes Andrea Mantovani back into 3rd, but it looks as though the LCR duo are about to go faster still. Mattia Casadei looking to cement his place on provisional pole. You can see Eric Granado using absolutely all of the available track through the Ramshoek before he breaks down into the GT chicane. Nice and tidy there for the number 40 of Casadei. It's going to be a 39, is it? It is a 39.943, the first that we've seen today, and we are edging a little bit closer to that outright circuit record.
Good time there from Casadei. A 39.943, gives himself nearly 2/10 of a second buffer as well, so that is really impressive, and still with 2 minutes left on the clock as well, so expect the time to carry on tumbling down.
Yeah, one name that we are slightly surprised to see a bit further down the order, the number 1 of Hector Garzo. Not really been able to get into his stride just yet. 1.5 seconds off. He just crosses the line with the personal best, but it's 1.4 seconds off. There is the number 1 of Garzo. That does look very slick indeed, that machine, doesn't it, with the number 1 pasted on the front. And Garzo, you can see, not really comfortable there coming through turn number 1. It looks as though it's going to be 10th place for the World Championship on the grid.
It does, because I'm not sure he's got enough time to get back round here.
No,
we'll have to keep an eye on it, but I think that's done for Hector Garzo. Well, that is a real error for him. Lorenzo Baldassarri's teammates coming under attack from Mantovani at the chicane. Mantovani on course. This could be really special. I tell you what, Mantovani, is he going to pick up any time in that last sector? He doesn't, not enough for pole, but he goes 2nd. Baldassarri improves his time again, but it's only 9th for the Italian rookie, so it's their last flying lap as well. 60 seconds on the clock and counting down.
Yeah, good stuff from Torres, who is gradually improving in this session as it goes on. Torres now up into 4th, demoting Granado back into 5th, and Zacconi into 6th. Torres has never managed to win a race here at the TT Circuit Assen, but he has had plenty of podiums at this venue. And very competitive in years gone by, and as Kiko was previously mentioning, 3rd position last time out in Le Mans, right in the thick of the title hunt. It is 5 riders covered by 11 points in the World Championship after the first round. It is tight as you like up there at the top, and Casadei. Zacconi there using all of the track and then some.
Has he got a pass to come back on the track now? He was out very wide at the end of turn 15. He's in all kinds of knots, Zacconi, so he comes to the line. This lap, I'm sure, will get chalked off. It doesn't matter anyway. It's not a personal best, so this is it for Alessandro Zacconi. A last flying lap. 3, 2, 1. Checkered flag out now, and that is all she wrote. So it is, if you're on your last flying lap, this is it as they come through turn 11 on that tyre, watching the MotoE bike through there. They look sensational, don't they? Jordi Torres particularly. He's sideways everywhere, but not normally on the exit of corners. So Torres comes through. Turn 15. What's he got? Chicane time here for the 81. Pull it down to that apex. 16, 17, flick it right, stand it up, give it the gas, all the way to the checkered flag and the finish line. Oh, front row, steals the front row, provisionally there from Jordi Torres, and knocks Nicolas Spinelli back to P4. Nicolas Spinelli will be spitting feathers over that one. He would have answered his chances over a front row position. Mantovani's claimed second place on the grid at best. It looks like your front row could be settled here. Eric Granado, Zacconi haven't taken the flag. I think Zacconi at the end anyway, or is it Zanoni? Couldn't quite see in the background of the shot, but they ran wide to the line. Casadei's not going to improve. Surely it's another 40-point flat for him. Granado likewise. It all looks like it is over. Zanoni it was in the background. There's only Zacconi who could be a little fly in the ointment here. Here he is.
Yeah, coming through the ramp, Sook. He made a bit of a mess of this the last time around, but he keeps it well within track limits this time. The number 61, who came so close to a double victory here 1 year ago, did win race 2 at Assen in 2024. Comes across the line, the number 61 climbing up from 7th into 6th, and it's a spot on the second row for Alessandro Zacconi. So decent, nothing too spectacular. I don't think he'll be cheering when he comes back into the pit lane after that performance, but respectable and still very much in the mix for honours tomorrow. But it is Mattia Casadei, the championship leader, who has set his stall out here at the TT Circuit Assen with that performance. The only rider today to be able to lap this lap in 1 minute 39s.
It is a 5th career pole as well for Mattia Casadei, so we'll be very happy about that. In second place, it's a career best qualifying for Andrea Mantovani, so really good and solid performances from the top 2 here on the MotoE grid. Here is Mantovani. He has the best haircut on the grid, and now he has his best MotoE qualifying slots on the grid.
Are you including yourself? Well, you're not on this grid, are you? But
I definitely finished 2nd in the comms box hair competition. Well, then again, well, no, 2nd, including Elliott in pit lane, because he's obviously 3rd.
Exactly. Well, best on the grid, Mantovani. Maybe not best in the paddock, but certainly a fine head of hair on the Italian. And a fine performance in qualifying as well. Coming through Q1 to put it 2nd and middle off the front row. Mantovani will fancy his chances of another podium here tomorrow. Great stuff as well from Jordi Torres, who only got faster as that session went on. And you have to say, Kiko, that is something that will bode well for tomorrow's 2 races. I kind of rather fancied that the likes of Casadei and Torres were using that as a bit of a mini race run there in qualifying, where they were just building themselves up and getting faster as it went on. Casadei was able to lap right in the low 1 minute 40s on his final lap of the session, his 6th lap off the session. So that bodes well for his chances at victory tomorrow.
It really does, and the important thing is the gaps are really tight as well, Neil. You look all the way down to Lorenzo Baldassarri. He's only half a second off. It's less than 3/10 covering the top 7, so race pace looks good for some, but we are being encouraged here by such narrow margins.
Yeah, and when you see those narrow margins, it makes you look at Hector Garzo in 10th, 1.4 seconds off the top, and it makes you wonder what must have happened to the Spaniard. Not maybe feeling 100% comfortable here. There's no doubt that he likes this track. He did win race 1 at this venue a year ago, and obviously playing a bit of catch-up after a double non-score in France. He obviously came to France as well with an injury from pre-season testing. He missed most of pre-season after injuring himself, I think, in the first session that we had back in Barcelona. So it's been a pretty complicated 2025, a pretty complicated championship defence for the Spaniard, but he will no doubt pick up speed as the year progresses.
Andrea Mantovani happy with that career best 2nd place there for the front row there, the number 9. Mattia Casadei, another pole for him. And Jordi Torres, it's actually his first front row start of the year, and it's his first front row start at Assen since he was on pole a couple of years ago. So Assen perhaps not one of Jordi Torres' strong points in terms of qualifying, but he'll be trying to capitalise on that front row starting position. He's going to be talking to Elliot York before all of that, though. El, down to you.
Jordi, great job, your first front row of the year. I'm sure that was the target before coming into qualifying. How are you feeling after that?
Yes, not bad, because we do a huge crash in FP1, and yes, after we rode in a rain, after in a dry, we are on the top, and I feel very comfortable, happy with the team, also with the comportment of the bike, with the sensation of the bikes. I feel very strong. But now I feel something that I need to push to stay more in the front. But at the final, we have the pace, we stay there, we still continue fighting, and everything is good. I want to say many thanks to Aspar team, because the team worked a lot to bring the bike on the quali, because in a 2 hours and a half, more or less, the bike was completely destroyed, and now we are here.
Good job, Jordi, and good luck for tomorrow's race.
Thank you.
The best sideburns in the paddock, talking to the worst sideburns in the paddock, but Jordi Torres, P3, you'll be happy with that.
Yeah, exactly. And after that big crash he had earlier today, as he said, Aspar team did a fine job putting that bike back together for a place on the front row, and as practice proved earlier, he does have the speed. He will be up there fighting tomorrow in both races.
He will be indeed, and it's been perhaps a little while since we've seen Jordi Torres try and challenge for victory. Someone trying to do the same, Andrea Mantovani, a career best P2.
Andrea topped up Q1 to the front row. You must be super pleased with that, and that puts you in a great position for tomorrow's races as well.
Yes, this weekend I start with a little difficult, but now I work very well with my team, and it's an incredible job. Q2, us in Q1, and it's fantastic. Thank you, Forward Racing team, for this incredible job. I like it so much to work with our, and tomorrow 2 races and gas.
Well done, and good luck for the races tomorrow.
Tomorrow I hope to be the best, to win, and to tanto gas.
Well done.
Ciao a tutti.
Well, Andrea Mantovani buoyed with P2. He is a character and a half.
Tanto gas. I think that will.
Who's he?
He's in MotoE, isn't he?
Tanto gas from Andrea Mantovani as he talks so well down there in Parc Ferme. Next up, Mattia Casadei. You're going to have to go something to beat Mantovani, at least in the interviews. P1 and pole for you.
Mattia, pole position here in Assen, a great job in qualifying and puts you in the best place for the races. You must be feeling really confident for tomorrow.
Yeah, it's the first goal of the weekend, and we do it because it's very important here to start in front, and I'm very happy. I want to thank a lot the team, because give me a very good bike. This is the best place for the 2 races, and now we try to enjoy the races.
Top job, and good luck for tomorrow.
Thank you very much.
Mattia Casadei, it is on pole position, of course, and we will see him go from that pole tomorrow. It was a very fine lap, 39.9, not to be sniffed at, but not a big margin back to Mantovani. He is within reach.
Yeah, most certainly is. Mattia Casadei looking very strong, very consistent in that session as well, doing a succession of laps in the low 1-minute 40s. He will surely start tomorrow's double-header as the favourite from pole position.
He leads the field, a 39.9 it is for the number 40 championship leader. Andrea Mantovani second, Jordi Torres completing your front row. It's a raft of Italians coming in 4th, 5th and 6th. Spinelli, Ferrari, Zacconi. Granado for Brazil there in 7th place. Ahead of Baldassari, Zanoni on that 3rd row. Hector Garzo, your reigning world champion, still getting back to some kind of bike fitness and bike form, completing your top 10. Unlucky for Romania's Jacopo Hosiuk. He'll go from 11th to number 12. Alessio Finello will complete that 4th row. Raffaele Fusco and Tommaso Occhi rounding out your MotoE grid for race 1 and 2 tomorrow, coming up on Saturday at Assen. Mattia Casadei has a target on his back in terms of the championship, and now he has a bigger one in terms of lights out tomorrow. Join us for race 1 and race 2, the company of myself, Kiko Giles, Neil Morris alongside me, Elliot York in pit lane. See you then. Goodbye.